think it was like during my second week I had started. There was this lady and she was buying a lot of Vaseline, and I don't know what she was buying it for. Like, what do you really use Vaseline for? I was stacking the bottles of, they look like this. Fill up the bag as much as I can, but not like just shoving everything in. Fast forward a little bit, I was turning the bagging area, and then all of a sudden the bag fell, and I was like, well, what are we supposed to do now? She was like, so are you gonna pick it up? And I was like, yeah. I went around and then I was picking them up and just putting them all back in the bag. And then I wasn't really like doing it how I did at first, which was I was stacking them on top to make them organized. I just like kind of shoved them in there. And so then she was like, what do you think you're doing? And I was like, well, you asked me to put them back in the bag, so that's what I'm doing. And she was like, no, but you're doing it wrong. And then I was like, sorry? And she was like, you should be sorry, because I don't know why you're throwing them in there, like, if that's how you're supposed to put them in there. You know what, move, like, I don't want you to be touching my things anymore. Like, I don't know who teaches you to bag like this, because this is not the proper way to bag. You know what, because you're being very rude and disrespectful towards me. Give me your manager. And I was like, what? And she was like, you heard me, get me your manager. I was like, you need to get some proper etiquette in yourself, because you really have no customer service in you, and you really want to be rude like this. And I was like, all I did was drop your bags, and it wasn't even my fault. I didn't get her a manager, and then she was like, you know what, I'll go find her myself, and I'll even tell her that you're refusing to give me service. And I was like, I'm not refusing anything. Like, I literally cashed you out. I did what my job is. I don't need to get you a manager, especially if I don't have a way to get her. So then she's like putting her stuff very slowly into her cart and giving me like rude stares and everything. And I'm like, bro, like, your eyes are gonna pop out if you continue doing that at this point. And I start like ringing up the next customer's stuff, and then she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, once again, very confused. I'm like, well, I'm ringing up my next customer. I'm already done with you, so I don't know why you're asking. And then she was like, no, you can't be doing that, especially if I'm still here. And I'm like, yes, I can. Like, I'm already finished with you. Like, I have nothing to do with you. And she was like, no, she's getting too close. Isn't it supposed to be 6 feet apart? And then she was like, you're not gonna continue. And I'm like, yes, I am. Like, why is she telling me what to do? Like, bruh, you are not my manager. This lady went along to literally go talk about me to like the person at the door. This lady had like a microwave and then 2 toasters and like I think it was like a blender. And so I go around and I start to like want to start scanning her microwave, and then she was like, back off. And I was like, I was so confused. And she was like, you may not start scanning my stuff until I tell you to. And she was like, so you can shoot and go back to where you actually came from, which was behind your register, and you can stay there. And I was like, ma'am, why are you this rude? I started scanning them, and then she's looking at the prices, and she was like, can you slow down? Like, you're scanning things too fast. Like, I want to see what the prices are. And I was like, okay, my bad. Like, you know? And so then I started scanning slower, one by one. I was like, okay, have a good day. So I put her receipt and her money together, and I'm trying to hand it to her, but she's over here on her phone and she's putting the bag in her cart. And I was like, ma'am, here's your money. She was just ignoring me. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I placed the money down with the receipt on the counter, kind of. So then she was like, why do you think it's okay for you to place the money down? I told you to hold on to it. And I was like, well, I'm trying to give it to you, but you won't grab it. And she was like, that doesn't mean that you placed it down. You're literally not trying to accept your own money. She was like, well, you're trying to hurry me as if you're in a rush. And she was like, there's no line behind me, so why are you trying to hurry with me? And I'm like, I'm not trying to hurry with anything. It's just that I'm trying to give you the money, but you won't grab it. And I'm trying to clean my own area so then I can get the next customer. And she was like, well, you don't have to worry about that because there is no customer. And I was like, well, yeah, but someone could come. So then she was like, why are you being so rude and disrespectful towards me? Like, I haven't even done anything to you. And so then I finally placed the thing down, and she was like, I told you to hold on to it. Are you gonna hold it or what? And so then I'm over here holding it, and then she was like, you know what, get me a manager. And I was like, you want me to get a manager? And she was like, yes. Did I stutter? I told her, if I'm gonna go get a manager, you have to grab onto your money. She was like, no, I told you to hold on to it, and you're gonna keep on holding on to it. And I'm like, I can't go get a manager. She was like, why is that? And I was like, because this is your money. If like I walk away with it, I feel like you're gonna say that I'm trying to steal it from you. And she was like, now why would I do that? And I'm like, well, I don't know. You were being rude from the beginning, so I don't know what to think of you now. And so then she was like, you know what, that's it, I'm gonna go get her myself. Coworker comes up and she was like, so what's the issue, ma'am? And she was trying to tell him that I was being rude and that I was being disrespectful, that I was refusing service. and I was talking back and everything. And so then he was like, what can I do? And she was like, give me a manager. And then he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to find a manager, but I think they're all occupied. And she was like, I don't care, like I can stay here all day if that's what it takes to talk to a manager to like discuss about her, because she's literally being so rude and disrespectful. Again, some training again, because if she's really acting like this, I can't understand how you guys like even hired her. She was like, okay, finally, see, that's how you actually be nice. He actually listened to me. He's actually gonna get me a manager, not like you. One of my supervisors or like team leads comes and she starts talking to her. She was like, so what seems the issue? So she reads her name tag and she was like, it doesn't say manager, so could I get an actual manager? She was like, well, I'm over here taking in charge because the manager right now isn't here, so I'm the one in charge. This other manager from a different department comes, and how her says manager, she just went with it. And then at the end, I was overhearing about what this lady was talking about me, and she was talking mad smack about me and making up stuff that didn't actually happen. The first story I have with the guy being rude. So it was that he came and he was buying these 3 bottles of oil. I don't know, but I'll put a picture. 3 bottles of those. But he was telling me that they all should be the price of like, I think it was $11 because they were on clearance, and he even took a picture of it. Before pressing the card button, I was looking at the bottles like really quick before, you know, and so then I realized that they all look different. And so then I was like, oh, let me just scan the other 2 because just to make sure. And he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And then I scanned the other 2 and I was like, oh, these are coming up to like 20 something bucks. And he was like, that can't be it, you already told me that they were $11. And I was like, no, I was telling you that this one, the first one I did scan, that one did come up for the price you were talking about. And then he was like, but I already showed you a photo. And I was like, yeah, but I can't really see like anywhere. Like he only took a picture of like the bottom of the bottle with the shelf where it says the price, so I couldn't really tell much about it, you know. Oh, and also I realized that this one is for this type and this one's a different, like even though they are kind of the same, they do 2 different things, something. And he was like, I don't care, like I'm telling you that that's the price, so I want you to sell it to me like that. And I'm like, I'm not gonna sell it to you like that. He was like, get me a supervisor. And so then like my supervisor actually came through. She was like, so what's the issue? And then he was like, well, I'm trying to explain to her that these 3 are supposed to be the same price of 10 something, because back there it was saying it was on clearance, and I don't get it why she's saying that it's ringing up to 20 something. Like I'm not gonna pay for that. Like, can you tell her to change the price? And he was just being rude towards her and like even called her like a bad word. And she was like, if you're gonna be talking to me like that, I'm not even gonna talk to you and I'm not gonna help you. He was like, well, it's because you're not listening. And she was like, I am listening, you're yelling at me, so how am I not going to be listening to you? And she was just like over his shit, and so was I. And then she was like, well, I'm gonna have to go double check. And then he was like, well, there shouldn't be anything wrong, because if there's anything wrong, you're supposed to blame your own coworkers because they're the ones who can't do a stupid job. And then I was like, I don't know who did that, who is in charge of that, but that is not Mutter. Do not be insulting my coworkers like that. Mad disrespectful. The other 2 bottles were like 20 something bucks. And she was telling him that, and he was like, you know what, fuck this, like I'm not gonna pay shit, like you really want me to pay this, all this and that, like you guys can't even lower the price, like it's your guys' fault that you guys can't do a simple job, like you guys are Walmart workers. And I'm like, sir, mad disrespectful. And so then he was like cussing her out. He was like, you know what, fuck this store, like I ain't never coming back, you guys just lost another customer, like I'm gonna get my lawyers up in here. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, sir, if you can't even buy a bottle of 20 something bucks of like, I think it was oil, how are you gonna afford a lawyer? Like, I don't know how much lawyers are, but I know damn well they are expensive. And to take Walmart to court, sir, you are funny. So now for the actual drama y'all been waiting for. It all starts from when I started pretty much working. I started having this one, like, I guess she was kind of like a supervisor because she was in charge of the front end. We're just gonna call her A. And then there's also another girl we're gonna mention. Her name's gonna be B because that's the second letter of the alphabet. I start like kind of having a little bit issues with A because I feel like she was just being rude, and sometimes it seemed like she didn't want to help me, you know. Fast forward a little bit, this one girl starts working there. Her name, like I said, was B. And I feel like from the start, B and A have like a connection, like they have a friendship. I didn't realize it that at first that she was favoring her, because I was like, well, they're just friends, you know. That's why she's doing it for her, because they're friends and I'm not friends with her, so of course she's not gonna be like that with me. But then I realized that it was more than that. She was kind of having more special treatment towards her, you know, like letting her go on breaks when she wanted to, or like taking her lunches when she wanted to, like little things where it was supposed to all of us have like equal opportunity. It wasn't like that. One of like kind of like the big thing, I guess you can say, where it was that it wasn't so little, is when she started putting B at self-checkout. And like at first I didn't really mind it, but I'm like, oh, could I start like figuring out how self-checkout works, because I want to know like if they ever need me over there, you know. And she told me no. So I was like, okay then, you know. And so I was like, but why is it that you put B over there? And she was like, oh, because B was interested and that was one of the things that she wanted to be into. And I was like, I told her I still wanted to learn self-checkout. And she was like, well, there's no time to teach you how to do self-checkout, so I can't really put you over there. And I was like, hey, whatever. She would want me to be at the register for longer hours and have me to hold my lunch. Like I would have my lunch way later than I was supposed to. And so then, you know, y'all are probably wondering like, okay, but what did you do? Like, what did you actually try and do? I tried to move departments. I tried to go into cosmetics, and they're like, you can push carts, and I was like, no thank you, like I really don't want to do this, because this is like the summertime, so it was like very hot. So it was just like a big issue of like me moving. So after like a month or two, I gave up on that and just like, you know, I was like, whatever, like I don't really care anymore. There was this one day where I think we were gonna have an inspection or something. They started having me clean the whole register from top to bottom and around the area and everything. And like I didn't really mind, you know, at first, because like we all did it. But then there was this one day where pretty much A, the supervisor, the team lead, the person in charge of everybody over there in the front end, she didn't have B clean as much as she did have me. And she was like, oh, I need you to clean each one of the individual register. And I'm like, well, like why do I have to do all of them? She was like, well, you're not doing anything else, so you might as well do that. And I was like, yeah, but like B, she's not doing anything either, like why can't you have her doing that? And she was like, no, I'm gonna send B to do something else. And she would literally have B either go to self-checkout and do nothing, or go and do go backs. And go backs pretty much is like taking what people leave behind and putting them back where they go. This is funny though, because B was also like shit talking about me to my other co-workers. She was trying to get me fired because she was saying that I was having poor attendance and that I wasn't really coming in to work on time, and that I was actually a bad cashier, and like making up these lies and excuses about me. And I found out by B, because there was this one day where B and I actually had to work together to go put go backs, and she was like, did you know that you're gonna get fired? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she was like, yeah, because A is talking to the managers, and she's telling them about how you do a poor job, and that she wants to get you fired because honestly you're really bad at your job, all this and that. And I was like, why is she like, it was so annoying. And I was very scared, because I could not have, like, to this day I cannot lose my job. Like, I value my job a lot. So if like any management you're watching anything, please do not think that I'm trying to talk bad about Walmart. I'm just giving my experience, and I am a proud member of Walmart. Sometimes you guys don't hire the best people. And I was telling my mom about like how I was scared to get fired, and she was like, well, she doesn't really have the power to do that. And I'm like, yeah, but like if she convinces the managers and like the upper managers to actually fire me, then I could get fired, all this and that. I was just scared to lose my job overall. I was just trying to have her to like me a lot. Like I was doing whatever it took for her to like me. Yeah, so I was trying to get her to like me, so like she would change her mind and she wouldn't be talking shit about me. It's funny though, because like I think a few 2-3 weeks after, she was gone. Like I never saw her again, so I don't know if she got fired or she just left. So she doesn't work with me anymore, and neither does B, because I think B got fired also. I think B got fired. Please make sure to subscribe if you still haven't. If you are still not convinced by this video to subscribe to me, that's okay. Hopefully my next or previous videos just changes your mind to actually subscribe to me. Make sure to like if you want. Anyways, ciao guys. Also, comment down if you want to be a real one, to know that you guys actually watched the full video, or at least to be nice. Happy 1 year anniversary, Maria. That'd be really appreciated.